Oh man.
Hey y'all. I've been busy this week, y'all. Oh my God. I just want to, at the top of this, before we get into talking about surrendering to spirit, because that's what I want to talk about today, unless y'all have something y'all want to talk about, is thank everyone who signed up for yoga classes. Y'all been keeping me busy. I am so appreciative. Um, my schedule has been packed for yoga class, and I really appreciate that, guys. I really appreciate that. If you are new to my channel, I am Zoha, and I am a certified yoga instructor. I am a crystal enthusiast and jewelry designer. I write books, so I'm an author slash writer. A wellness advocate, trauma informed yogi. Yeah. So if you want to learn more about me, you can go to my website. It's in the link, www.zohamislight.com. I like to share my healing experiences on my channel and everything that I encounter. And today, I wanted to talk about surrendering to spirit. If y'all can hear me, let me know that the sound is good. And I want to say hi to everyone who said hi to me. Hi, Jose. Hi. Uh, how do you pronounce your name? Abhishek. 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 Um, Ahisek. I like that. That's interesting. Hi. Hi, Malik. Hi, you guys. So, I wanted to talk about surrendering to spirit today because I've been having a lot of moments where I've been paying attention. I've always tried to pay attention to those calls from spirit, but I just wanted to talk about my processes in the last few weeks. I'm good. Thank you for asking. How are you guys? I'm actually having a really wonderful day. I got up this morning and I had a yoga class, and then I taught yoga on TikTok. I'll share that over here. I have to edit it because it was long, and um, y'all know I'm on all these platforms, so I gotta maintain them all. I also want to thank everybody on TikTok who came over to TikTok and followed me. I have over 100,000 followers on TikTok, and that just happened overnight. So I'm grateful to all y'all, and I'm grateful to y'all over here for following me and all of that. And everywhere you go, Instagram, y'all know it's the same everywhere you go. Zoha means so. I'm not really big on creating telling people follow me here, follow me there. If you want to follow me, you can. It's mostly the same content, a little different here on YouTube because I have a longer span of time that I can engage, and that's it. Hi, Laura. So surrendering to spirit, surrendering, right? So I'm gonna tell y'all my journey with surrender, right, has been very interesting because y'all know me. Those of you who know me, y'all know I come from Southeast DC, which is a very difficult space to grow up in. And the one thing you didn't do in that space was surrender. You didn't just allow yourself to be whatever. You had to figure out how to blend in, how to become a part of the flow there. You know what I mean? So hi, Bryson. Hello. Hi, Jose. So yeah, you. Hi, Hamilton. All you guys are so kind. So yeah, I had surrender for me had been a very difficult process because I didn't come from a space where you surrendered. I came from a space where you had to learn to be in control, or at least look like you were in control of everything. Welcome everybody into the room. Ah, Hawaii. Oh God, that's on the list. One day when COVID goes away and all of that. So because I didn't come from a space where surrender was a normal function. Oh, learn how to master the ego. Yes, that's a big one. Because I didn't come from a space where surrender was a normal function, surrender came very difficult to me because I was taught that you controlled how everything happened in your life. You control who was in your life. You control how things showed up in your life. And, I had been doing that for a long time. I was, really in this mind frame where I really believed that I was in control of things. Thank you, Bryson. You too. Aloha. I was in control of things, and it made me feel empowered, and it made me feel like I had, everything going on or whatever. But that also made me have a lot of anxiety and a lot of stress over my life because when things wouldn't go right, then I would be like using negative self-talk towards myself, being harmful in that way. So growing to surrender to spirit was quite a process for me. I don't know how it is for everyone else. For me, but it was quite a process. And I had to learn how to turn off that negative self-talk. And your negative self-talk is the inside voice that you develop from being criticized, and you're disconnected from your trust and your self-confidence, right? So you grow this voice of negative self-talk or negative feedback that is not in alignment with self-love or self-care or self-promotion. Now, some people get that, and some people get the overinflated conversation with the ego where they're like, I'm the best, I'm the greatest, nothing I do is ever wrong, I'm perfect, right? So, but I was on the other end of the spectrum where it was like, you're stupid, you don't know what you're doing, why are you moving so slow, move faster, and all that. Thank you, Ray the Boss. And so I had to learn how to quiet that voice, and in order to hear spirit, so that I could even get to surrender. So that was the first part of my process, was learning how to quiet that voice, and that took a lot of different things. Writing notes to myself. Yes, Laura. Writing notes to myself about being kind and saying kind things to myself, reminding myself to say kind things to myself, and writing empowering notes to myself. And then also figuring out things that I could do so that I would feel empowered, because I know that I have these innate skills and abilities. And to, okay, boo, get down. And to do more to grow those skills. This is Marley. You want to say hi?
Hi.
I love you, chicken. Mwah. Go look at you.
No TV.
Okay, you gonna sit still?
Sit still.
Okay, sit down. Sit still, okay? So, quieting that negative voice. Quieting that negative voice, and was the first part of the process. And then the second part of the process that I worked on was allowing myself to fail. Allowing myself not to be perfect. Allowing myself to have moments where I didn't know what I was talking about. And being okay with that. Like, I think that a part of adulting is we learn that we're always supposed to know what we're doing. Marley. Can you go to the couch, please? I'm going to go to the couch if you don't go to the couch. Okay, well, you can stay here. So a part of that was learning to be okay with not being perfect and not having the abilities that I felt like I should have had, or I thought that people told me I should have had. And being okay with that, I still get to learn, I still get to grow. Like, that's why we're here, right? That's a part of our process, learning and growing, right? And it's some weird thing in adulthood that makes you feel like because you're an adult that you should know everything and you should be able to figure it out, right? So that's the part of that ego that Malik was talking about earlier. I'll tell her you said hi, Laura. Malik was talking about earlier, like letting that ego die, you know? And not feeling like you have to always be on top of everything. And I know that we don't live in a world that always allows for this type of space because we are so hard on each other and we are very rarely leave space for people to be human. You know what I mean? We have these rules. When you're 18, you're supposed to be able to do this. When you're 21, you're supposed to be able to do this. When you're 25, you should have all this together. By the time 30, you should be this successful. 35, this successful. And that all of those time frames and limitations don't apply to everyone, right? We have this world where we have these broad ideas and we try to apply them to everyone, and we don't consider all the circumstances that people come into the world with and that they actually have to function through in their lives to become a functioning person, not just an adult, but a functioning person, right? So let it, like, owning that, you know, I've lived through some circumstances that may have hindered this type of development, or that but it has advanced me in other ways emotionally. You know what I'm saying? Like really standing on your strengths and understanding what your strengths are and amplifying those things and allowing those things to be your guiding force versus being upset that you're not good at things that you're not good at. You know what I mean? So that was the other thing, right? So learning how to amplify things that I was good at, and then like slowly figuring out how to do things that I wasn't good at, you know? And then the third thing that helped me connect the spirit, it's like she is on a roll today. The third thing that helped me connect the spirit was finding something that allowed me to practice feeling easy or feeling like not rushed, not like I had to overperform, you know, because there's this urgency that comes with feeling like you have to know everything or that you have to always be prepared that we don't, you know, talk about. And that urgency is the anxiety or the stress levels that we constantly take on in order to be perfect, right? So finding an activity that will help you. Marley, please, mama, please.
Please, the mom.
Yeah, please, chill out, okay? I know, you just want to be with me. So finding an activity that will help you ease your anxiety. And that could look like a lot of different things, right, for different people, right? So some people are good at using their hands, and some people use like music, exercise, different things to help you deal with your anxiety and your stress levels so that you don't feel that urgency to always be on top of everything, because it's really that energy driving you to be perfect, right? And then that energy is the same energy that drives you to talk down or overinflate your ego, to deflate your ego or overinflate your ego. That is where the energy comes from, right? Is that urgency and that stress that we put on ourselves and on each other to perform in a certain type of way. So, you know, for me, it's definitely yoga, crocheting. I used to hula hoop a lot. I used to skate a lot. And you want this? But like, you know, some type of other movement that allowed that energy to get out my body so that I wouldn't be it be trapped in my body. She's telling me what to do.
Tiger.
Oh, dang, tiger. There you go, Pooh. So finding something that will help you release, okay? because our expectations, you know what I mean, can become bigger than our reality. And expectations oftentimes don't serve as a good map for how to get to someplace, right? Sometimes our expectations are a little bit not slightly over uh like we're reaching a little too far, right? So like being realistic in our goals and what we want to achieve and where we are in the moment and what we have access to can really help us develop in a better way that is more in alignment with who we are, right? So allowing those things to show up. And then once I started quieting the anxiety and getting rid of that cortisone, that stress energy that I was carrying around, I could hear the difference between me, the old me that was like supercharged and always under stress and couldn't relax, and spirit. Right. Malik said the ego is where everything that opposite of God dwells. Right. I go to war with that within. Right. Right. So yes, your ego is the part of your mind that is screaming at you. Get this done. Do this right. You're not doing it right. Da da da. God or spirit or your higher self or whatever you want to call it, the urgency is not there. There's no urgency. There's no anger. There's no frustration. I know that people like to talk about a wrathful God and all that. I don't have communion with a wrathful God. I don't have communion with a God who is angry. There's no reason. Uh the space that I have communion with is peace, is still. And that all things come from that, right? And we help create all those things. But the ego is so masterful. That's the word I want to look for. The ego is so masterful because it needs to be alive. It needs to run things. It's because that's why it's called ego. It has to have control. And when it loses control, it'll fight. It'll fight for that control, and that's what you're hearing in your head. And you're like, having indecisiveness, not knowing what to do because you are not choosing your ego anymore, and it causes all of this confusion. All this confusion. And then it starts to show up in your life because you're following your ego and that confusion. So really working to quiet that voice and to allow that voice to know that I'm not trying to hurt you. Like, I want us to be good. I want us to be well. I want us to live our most productive life. And the only way we're going to do that is we surrender. As we let go, we stop trying to make stuff happen. We stop trying to force everything to go the way that we think it's going to be. Because the reality is we're not in control. We're not in control. And as soon as we relax into that, the ease of that. And I know that can be hard for some people because we really do believe that we are in control. We believe that we create everything like bit by bit. But I think that this is my belief. I think that we co-create with the divine. That we co-create by allowing the divine to direct us and following those things. And since I've been doing that, surrendering to spirit and not making it about me, not making it like I have to have this done, like I have these lofty goals in my head that I think, my human self thinks are the way to go. But when I drop all that stuff, I hear, just go this way. Just like I was told to come and have this conversation. I've been hearing, talk about surrender all week. I've been hearing that all week. I finally surrendered today to that thought that the divine sent to me all week. And when I do that, when I finally surrender, when I surrender to the divine, things move so differently than when I'm trying to assert myself and force And I don't have that tension. I don't have that anguish. I don't have that frustration. I don't have that anxiety. I don't have all those suffering energies that come along with making things happen. When I get out of my own way and I allow the divine to create and I co-create with it. When I surrender. When I step out of the I and I step into the we. And because I live in America, it's a very individualistic society. We're taught individualism from a very early age. It's a very difficult concept to take on because then I have to surrender to the idea that everyone else benefits from my goodness and everyone else doesn't benefit when I'm not well. That's such a huge responsibility conversation. And that's literally what's at the bottom of that. Malik said, right, the universe seems to resist us whenever you try to control everything. Right. But it's really us being resistant to the flow, right? We think we know better. We think we know more, right? And we know a lot. Innately, we know a lot. But we are not the creators of this world. So we have to surrender to the grander energy. There is a grander energy. And when we allow it to show up in our lives and allow it to give us, the purpose and the walk in that purpose, things become a lot easier. I literally did everything Spirit told me to do for the last 3 months. And like consistently, like I'm like, if I hear do this, I go that way. If I hear don't do this today, I don't do it. And I don't argue and I don't fight about it. I don't make a big deal about it. I'm just like, oh, I guess I'm supposed to do that today. I remember in my life when I used to force everything to happen, I would always end up in very unhealthy situations that would cause me lots of frustration and anger and feelings of betrayal and hurt and loss. I rarely have those feelings these days because I don't fight spirit. I don't fight the divine. So I hope this helps anyone who is struggling with their purpose or struggling with how to become aware, how to surrender to spirit, how to allow spirit to show up in your life. And a lot of times, it doesn't look the way we think it's going to look. Like a lot of us have these, millionaire dreams and things like that, and success story dreams at the end of our rainbow. And spirit has something different in store from us. And success looks different all the time, and abundance looks different all the time. You just have to be willing to see it and to embrace it. So I hope this was helpful, y'all. And if y'all don't have anything, because I'm done. I'm sorry Marley was so rambunctious today. But I am a stay-at-home mom. And that's part of my life. Kids. And I do live in a space where my kids are seen and heard. Because I value their input in my life. And I know that can be difficult for some adults. So, again, if you want to book a yoga session with me, link in bio. Crystal Adornments, link in bio. Also, if you want to do trauma work, I do trauma work with women. I don't feel qualified to do trauma work with men because it's just, I feel like it's a different experience. And I think that's something that the men in our community should take on. And I pray that opens up for Black men, especially soon, because I know it's definitely something that needs to happen. Thank you, Malik. I really appreciate you. And I hope y'all have a beautiful Saturday. And I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.